What's up, guys? How y'all doing? I have returned for another UH men's basketball recap video, and we're going to get right down to things and hope you guys are all enjoying yourselves. And also, I'm going to get down to business. As you're seeing on this graphic here, University of Hawaii came through with a huge win over the UC Riverside Highlanders, 63-56. And that was a very, very well-played game by the University of Hawaii. I'm going to get to my analysis in just a moment, but first, I just want to tell you guys, thank you guys for subscribing. Please hit the subscribe button down below if you're a new viewer to my channel and you like these recap videos. I got my channel monetized on December 1st, 2023, and I want to be able to keep it. And you have seen some other videos, some little snippets from the last game that I got my shots from. And you will see some more as from past games as the week goes on, at least until UH men's basketball returns home for 2 games next week. So let's get started. Okay, I'm going to put up my banner first. As you can see, UH wins over Riverside. Early control, big factor. And I say early control because in those past 4 games that UH had lost at home, the determining factor in those 4 losses had been that the opposing team was the quickest to get on a significant run first. That happened against Fullerton. That happened against Irvine. It happened against other teams as well. TCU, Georgia Tech, and the Diamond Head Classic. Of course, it's not part of the Big West Conference, but still, those 4 straight games that UH had lost at home, and they managed to break that skid last Saturday night. As you heard, the score was 63-56. It's been a while since I said this, but the guy who led UH, JoVon McClanahan, with 14 points. He was followed by Noel Coleman with 10, and they were all in the second half. And I have to say that when it really mattered in crunch time, the University of Hawaii was very, very solid. And this is what Justin McKoy had to say about crunch time play, biting them in the butt the last 4 games.
I think we stayed together a lot more. And Vaughn watches more film than anyone I know. And I like to talk to him a lot. I watch film with him. We watched it right before shoot-around today. Just different things of what we can do better. And I thought he really led our team and had a lot of poise. I think Noel as well. He started out slow scoring-wise, but he got on the glass. He got after defensively. And so I think just like that leadership that we have is huge.
Yep. Justin McKoy was certainly spot on with that. And the last 6 straight free throws were made by the University of Hawaii. And that was a determining factor in this win because UH has struggled mightily at the free throw line in those 4 lost games. Saturday night, though, they were 18 for 21 as opposed to UC Riverside's 9 of 15. UH was 85%, 60% for UC Riverside. And I got to tell you, the way that UH jumped out early in the first half was a sure sign that they were not going to go home with an L, especially against UC Riverside. And, of course, when you consider what happened last year when Kamaka Hepa got hit with an offensive foul that really should have been a flop, that ruined UH after they were well on their way to possibly a complete 40-minute effort. And this year, they were able to right the ship. They got the first win against UC Riverside, and let's hope that they can get that sweep. But are they going to get that sweep? Well, this is what Coach Eran Ganot had to say about if he thinks they're going to get it, and why it's been so hard to get a sweep over Riverside, because that's the only team they've yet to sweep against.
It's tough because and I've been here for a lot of years. You just don't. This is a different team, like, and we don't kind of skip steps. I know the history probably too well, but right now we're thinking. It's just like I say, like everybody gets in the scoreboard watching and standings and seating. That's human nature. But if we skip steps, we'll get burned. If we just focus on getting better, we'll put ourselves in a good position. That's where we're at. Like, I don't think Tom. I understand the question, but I don't think Tom and Akira even know. They've never been to Riverside, so I just know it's going to be a battle when we go there again.
And I'll tell you this: the fact that UH has yet to sweep against Riverside is a pretty big surprise to me. And that was a big win for the University of Hawaii over UC Riverside, because the last time they did that at the Stan Sheriff Center was back in 2019. And that was when Jack Purchase eclipsed the record for most made three-pointers. And it only took him a couple minutes to do so. But, of course, their shooting was pretty comparable to UC Riverside. In the first half, UH made 13 field goals, and so did UC Riverside. And in the second half, they both made 7 field goals apiece. The only difference was UH shot better in that second half. They were 35% to 29% in the second half for UC Riverside. Riverside with 29%. But, of course, in the first half, 54% for the Bows and even 50% for UC Riverside, 13 for 26. So I would say that was a pretty comparable game. But what really told the story was the fact that UH grabbed control early, as that had been really biting them in those 4 losses, as I talked about earlier. And for once, UH did not subject themselves to an early deficit. And then they'd have to play catch-up. And, of course, you saw what happened against Cal State Fullerton. They fell behind by 7, and they were able to take the lead. But every time they got in front, something went wrong, and then they'd have to start from square one repeatedly. Well, Riverside really hung around there. The biggest lead that they pulled was only 4, and that was early in the second half. But fortunately, UH did a lot of good for themselves. They did not fold, they did not crack, and they did not have a significantly long scoring drought that affected their performance. And what really helped was what really helped down the stretch with crunch time, because that was one of the problem areas, because UH had been outscored in many of those games that were lost down the stretch. And of course, in overtime against Fullerton, UH was held to just 1 made field goal, and that was from Tom Beatty. And UH was held to just 1 of 9 from 3-point range. UC Riverside, I don't think they did much better. They were 2 for 11. Of course, percentage-wise, that's 18% for Riverside, 11% for UH. But overall, their defense was UH's defense and Riverside's defense was definitely comparable as per the entire game in general. The guy who led UC Riverside, Barrington Hargress, and wow, was he was a great guard. He had 18. The next closest was Nate Pickens with 10. And I thought Zion Pullen was still on the squad for UC Riverside, but I guess he graduated along with Flynn Cameron. And, of course, Callum McKoy transferred to Sacramento State. He was with them a couple seasons ago. But I'm looking at the scoring. Kyle Owens with 5, Caleb Smith with 8, and Isaiah Moses, UC Riverside's lead scorer, he was held to just 4 points. And that was a big thing for UH to do. And what really helped the University of Hawaii as well down the stretch was the fact that Riverside went scoreless in the second half for over 8 minutes. So that certainly helped the University of Hawaii come through. And here's what JoVon McClanahan had to say about being tested as of his point guard abilities along with Juan Munoz.
He's pretty tough. Yeah, he's quick. He's strong. They run a lot of action for him to get downhill, and I mean, he's one of their primary scorers. You know what I mean? Like, they want him to go attack and stuff like that. So, I mean, I wouldn't say like that was one of the best guards I'd seen, but I'm gonna give him credit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's tough, and I think he has to deal with us as well. But I like my complementary players better than I think he does.
And Juan Munoz with a great game himself. He was 2 for 4 from 3-point range. I believe both of his triples came in the first half. And speaking of the first half, another guy who certainly deserves a shout out, Akira Jacobs. He came off the bench and had 2 back-to-back triples that certainly helped UH in their quest to the win. UH would end the first half up by a single point, 35-34, and they would win the second half again, despite being held to just 28 points. But they did better against UC Riverside. UC Riverside, they only scored 22. So definitely, I would give them an A+, because that was a very solid performance by the University of Hawaii. And even so, last year, they faced off against Riverside first at their place, and I had told head coach Eran Ganot that I thought that was a complete 40-minute effort that they were looking for last season. And here's what he had to say about that.
If anything, I remember there are always battles. We had a battle there. They made a run late. We had a battle here. I think we had a shot to win it. Great respect for their program and Mike. I think they're going to continue to improve.
And I'll tell you this, if UH can put up that kind of steady performance, this is a team that's going to not only break this jinx with Riverside and get that season sweep, but they could very well go on to bigger and better things, possibly win the tournament if they've been able to figure out the pieces and become a special team like Munoz talked about in the last presser in the loss against UC Irvine. Because he felt that they had the pieces to be a special team, but they just had to put them all in, but they just had to put them all together. And that win against UC Riverside was a giant step forward. Now, I don't have a banner for this, but you can see down below in the title, I'm going to be giving my predictions for both Long Beach State and UC San Diego. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I think both games will be wins. I believe that Long Beach State, I'm putting UH as 3-point favorites because when you look at last year, at home, UH won by 9. And that was a major dogfight. And UH had to do that with a shorthanded squad, basically because the bench had been depleted. And of Long Beach State's 70 points, 50 of them were in the paint. And they got a lot of quality shooters like Jadon Jones, Amari Stroud, Marcus Sahonis. They better be on their A game and hold those guys down. And I'm not sure if Joel Murray is still with them. I don't think he is. I was looking at the roster earlier. But, I think that will be a 3-point win for the University of Hawaii. Because last year, UH led from start to finish, but they never trailed at all. But that one got very, very close. Because in the second half, Long Beach State put on a furious rally and managed to tie things up. But with a minute to go, you saw my live stream there. With 1 minute to go, JoVon McClanahan made a layup that eventually kept the University of Hawaii on top. And they almost went to overtime, but Jadon Jones' near half-court heave did not go through the bucket. I actually saw that on Instagram, and oh man, that was a very, very close shot. So don't doubt that Jadon Jones is going to be a guy who I'm not going to even mention in my recap of that game. Because that guy can shoot, let me tell you. And but you know, the only time we lost to Long Beach State was actually in 2022, and that was at home, and that was our only home loss. But then again, you have to put in a proverbial asterisk right by that, because that was during the COVID-19 era. UH was under a COVID pause. They lost 3 conference games, 2 at home, 1 on the road. And as a result, that loss to Long Beach State was our only loss at home. We were able to get 2 wins against them last season, and I believe we can get 2 wins against them this season. But they're going to have to play very, very solid. And UC San Diego, I think that will be a 7-point win for the University of Hawaii. We've yet to lose against UC San Diego, but then again, they got some pickups. You can't discount some of their guys like Francis Wakoria, Quinn Patterson, Justin DeGraff, and they also lost the services of Jake Kozakowski. He transferred to UH Hilo, but right back, Aniwa Tate Jones, who was with UH Hilo for a few seasons, he transferred to UCSD as well. And also, former UC Irvine player Emmanuel Shamanga, he's on the UCSD squad as well. And another guy that did not get to play in both games for UCSD against the University of Hawaii was Jerron Brooks. I heard about him through the Spectrum broadcast with Kanoa Leahy and Artie Wilson. I don't know how good that guy is, but believe me, I think he's going to be a major pain in the butt for the University of Hawaii. But if we can hold him down, we can manage to get 2 wins over UCSD once again this season. And we're going to have to, because now these games count for conference, and that's been the case as of last season. Because in 2022, those games did not count for conference. And I kind of thought that was one time where I thought that the pressure was kind of off for the Rainbow Warriors, but that's not the case anymore. And of course, UCSD transitioning to Division I. They're not eligible for the tournament, but they will be next year. So just to recap, Long Beach State, I believe that will be a 3-point win. UC San Diego, I believe that will be a 7-point win. Okay? And now, a guy that I actually thought was... Now, going back to UC Riverside, there was a time in the first half where Morset got this really sweet slam dunk here. Take a look at this. And I'll tell you this, Sek had 2 slams in that game, but that slam dunk that you just saw is poetry in motion, and solid proof why I feel that Sek is going to be a great successor when Bernardo da Silva leaves the program after this season. Now, a guy that I'm looking for to do a little better on this road trip is Ryan Rapp, because Rapp had only 1 point in the win against UC Riverside. I'm looking for him to do a little better. I kind of thought he'd have made at least 1 field goal. But I'll tell you this, if what I saw from Akira Jacobs is any indication, maybe that's the game that Akira needs, that he can get more playing time. anyway, guys, we'll see what happens. And anyway, that's all for now. And remember, subscribe. That's how my channel grows. As I said at the top of the video, I got my channel remonetized on December 1st, and I want to be able to keep it. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. And remember, subscribe. That's how my channel grows. And I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my videos. And you will see some more shots from my phone that I took all my B-roll with. And as this video comes to an end, of course. And anyway, guys, that's all for today. And remember, subscribe. I'll catch y'all later.